Hi everyone, today I'm going to attempt to show you in a really simple and efficient way how to create an ad in Facebook Ads Manager. So the first thing to make sure is that you're in the right account, and then you can see on the left here you have different buttons, so you can go through these: your account overview, your audiences. This is a good one if you want to work on audiences, pre-make them, billing and payments, etc. Another thing to look at is the date. So especially when you're reporting and looking at data, you want to make sure that you adjust the date so you see all the data. Otherwise, right now you don't see much because it's set at today. All right. Another thing to look at is here you have campaigns, ad sets, and ads, and those are the three main chunks that we're going to follow along to create our campaigns. So let's start by we're going to pretend we're creating a campaign for a deli kind of charcuterie store that wants to promote their different charcuterie and sandwich platter. This is kind of my idea. I've already created my creative. So I've taken images, I've put them at square and vertical so they would fit posts and stories. So that's super important if you do your creative before you get into this. So I took my images, went in Canva, did the proper squares. I already have my little text ready to go for my caption and the link to where I want to send people to. So doing this in advance is going to save you so much time. Okay, so you're going to create, and now you have your different objectives. So the ones we're going to focus on here are traffic and engagement, because you can kind of latch on to results of these with these two. So in class, this is part of my advertising class from the 6 steps to social media success, but we've already done a traffic ad as a boost post. So now I'm just going to go into creating engagement. And in engagement, you can also have traffic to your website. So it's a good kind of overall objective. So I'm going to go here, select engagement, click continue. Now, recommended settings. AI and Facebook is trying to have them more and more kind of guide you and do steps for you. I want to be kind of in control, and I want to show you how it's done. So for this exercise, we'll go into manual engagement campaign, and then we click here, and then it tells you, all right, so now we get into this section. So at the top, new engagement campaign. So always change the name, because eventually you'll have several campaigns running and it's going to be a big kerfuffle. So I'm going to be, say, spring charcuterie promo. Okay, for example, let's just pretend we're doing spring charcuterie promo. All right. Special ad category. This is so important. First, super important thing. Our students get their ads rejected all the time because of this. Okay. If you are running a category that falls under credit, employment, if you want to put any job offer out there, you need to click employment. Housing, if you're doing anything related to real estate or rentals, anything, you need to put housing, and then social issues. So what happens with that? It's going to limit your targeting options, because Facebook wants like housing to be offered to, and employment to be available to everyone, not just like certain brackets and so on. So it's super important you do that. Okay. Now, bidding time, campaign objective, we're just going to leave it at that. But if you go actually campaign objective, we had this engagement, that's okay. A/B test, we're not going to go into that right now, or campaign budget. So we're just going to leave it at that. And then you get to your ad set. So that was your campaign. In terms of ad set, I like put it on the ad set. This is the level where you put your budget and your audience. So I'm going to put the name, I'm going to put say sea to sky, because we're in the sea to sky corridor for Whistler, Pemberton, Squamish, and I'm gonna put Vancouver. It could be anything. You can be like North America, whatever your audience is gonna be. You can also put your budget or whatever it resonates to you. I'm gonna put my conversion as website because ultimately I want them to say go on my website to buy my little charcuterie platter. Now you're gonna see there's lots of distraction and pop-ups going up. Try to stay kind of focused to what it is you're trying to accomplish. So website, number of conversion, that's fine. So let's go slowly here. So first we put our name, our conversion. It's going to talk about the pixel. We're not worrying about that now. And then that's another video. Then you get to budget and schedule, okay? So you passed over your conversion, then your budget and your schedule. This is super important. Please try not to do a daily budget, or if you do a daily budget, make sure you set an end date. And that's another mistake we see all the time. People don't put an end date and they have their post going, their ad running forever, and then they're like, oh my god, I just got charged $1,000 by Facebook. And it's like, yeah, well, you never end your ad, so it went forever. So please, by default, I like putting lifetime budget because I feel more in control of my how much I'm spending. So say we're gonna put $50, big spenders. And I'm gonna say, okay, well, I just want this to be, say, if you put it too long with too little budget, it won't even let you do it. Okay, so it's about a minimum of like, say $2 a day about. So I'm gonna say, okay, in this case, I want to put this there before the May long weekend, for example. So just a quick promo. You could have like a more ongoing campaign for something actually, you know, probably longer is better when you go through all the work to do good creative. But say for this example, well, let's see if they're gonna let me. Say about a month, which is kind of nice, about a month. So it's gonna give me things. We'll see if they let us run with that. It's about $2 a day. Okay. Budget scheduling, let's pass through that. So we're going to slowly budget and schedule. We've put lifetime, $50, start, end, okay, whatever time doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna fuss about too much about scheduling. Audience control, okay? See, this is super funny because it's just this little box, and if you don't go over with your mouse, you don't even see the options to edit this, right? So here, always edit your audience because you can. So, am I going to everyone all over Canada? Well, depending what you're selling. But in this case, in this example, we're thinking about it's a little like deli shop in Whistler. So let's say people that would come would be more likely in a closer range. So I'm gonna put Vancouver. And then it says all sorts of Vancouver. So if you're not sure, you type the province. Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm gonna put Whistler because this is where we are. Whistler, British Columbia. I'm gonna put different places around. Pemberton, British Columbia. And say I'm gonna put another, say, Squamish. This is all places in our area. If I want to be more granular in terms of around Vancouver, which is a big city, I can put West Vancouver, British Columbia, and I can put, say, North Vancouver to kind of narrow this things down a bit, okay? I can like decide to be, you know, closer to home and so on. So this is that. And then I'm just gonna show you something interesting. If you click in more here, you can have a minimum age. So I'm gonna just put my minimum age here to be like, say, 21. Doesn't really matter, actually. I can put 20 years olds can order my sandwiches, doesn't matter. You can exclude these people, languages, we're not gonna fuss about this, okay? Now, audience suggestion. This is an interesting one. So this is optional, but I like to be granular with the audience. I want to target really people that are most likely to be even interested in coming to Whistler to buy a sandwich at my deli. So it's people that would be in Vancouver, in my example, that would come to Whistler and look for restaurants. So what would that look like? You have to do your own audience exercise, and we teach that in the 6 steps for success. But here, I'm gonna go, to be able to see this, I'm gonna go to my original options, okay? It says use advantage audience, use original audience. You can play with both, but for the time being, just to go with this, I'm gonna switch back to our classic audience. Another reason why classic audience is really good is because it allows you to access your saved audiences. Okay, if you have saved audiences, you will see them here. So right now I have this, I have these people. I can now put it, if I wanted to put an end to the age, like limit, I could put, and then add demographic, interest, or behavior. Okay, and you can have exclusion, and you can save your audience. So in this time we say, okay, people that are interested in coming to Whistler. So I would put Whistler Mountain Place, for example, and then Whistler Blackcomb, because we're ski resort. And then I can say, then I'm gonna put they're also interested maybe in restaurants, because they dining could be an interest. And I can put maybe they're like foodies, because they like, I don't know, nice food and drink. And then I can click suggestion, and then let's see what comes up. So I can put local food and drink. I can put lunch, because it's more of a lunch thing. I can put food and restaurant. I can put maybe dinner, or I can see if I can browse my different things. So you can, this is where you can go super granular, play with it, but you can say, wow, you can go by education, financial, different types of parents, relationship, work, interests, hobbies, industry, shopping, food and drink. So consumables, this is where I'd be like into this, restaurant, dining, food and drink. I can say what it comes back. I can say, oh, organic food, and I can just go from there and then build my audience. So it's a lot of work, and this is why it's really great when, so say you've done all your different audience, all your interests. I won't go like super detail on this, but you get the idea. And then you save this audience, okay? What's gonna be, so I'm gonna be the charcuterie example audience, okay? And so this is my audience, which means that if I was at charcuterie restaurant and I wanted to do another ad in the future, I could go into my save audience, and there it would be. So I wouldn't have to go, well, I need to refresh, but I wouldn't have to go through this whole process again, okay? I'm gonna leave it like that right now. The other thing that you wanna do at the placement, at this ad level, so there's campaign, ad set. So ad set name, we did the name, we decide our conversion is gonna be the website. We kind of skip, went to set up our budget. We figured out our audience. Now you have placement, okay? So by default, Meta is gonna put you everywhere. So it's really interesting when you look at what it looks like. So if you go in manual placement, just so you can see what that looked like, these are all the places that your ad is gonna be shown for your little 50 bucks. It's pretty amazing. I like to skip out of Messenger because I'm not a big fan of receiving promos unless it's super targeted, kind of like, but apart from that, I just like don't want to be too spammy. So see, here it says feeds. These are feeds, and then it shows you stories and reels, how it's gonna look like, shows you this is not my photos, they're just giving you examples of what things would look like, and this is exactly how your post would look like. So when you look at that, what do you realize? You realize that you're probably better to have your creative organized, because you'll see that this is more of a square. You can have a video, you can have a vertical for anything that's stories and reels. If you do not have in your creative a vertical image for stories and reels or a vertical video, please skip stories and reels. There's nothing worse than an ad coming in your story and it's this little square with black on top and bottom and a weird call to action. Like, have a little bit of thought into it. And when we get to the creative, you're gonna see what I mean by that. But also, if you wanted to if you have a wicked vertical video and you can do, say you do a reel and you download it and on your phone and you have that video ready to go, you could use it right and in your reel, and you can decide, you know what, I'm just gonna do like a stories or reel campaign, and you could check out of all these. So put a little bit of thought into it. At first, you can just skip all this, but know that this is what all these placements are under the ad set level. All right, let's click next. And finally, we get to our actual ad creative, okay? And the reason why this is all sorts of little squares here instead of like one item, it's because you could have under one campaign. So say in my charcuterie promo, I could have several ad sets and I could compare which works best with A/B testing, but let's not get into that, okay? My ad name, now I'm gonna put, so this is kind of the design. So I said my audience in the ad set level was for the Sea to Sky. Now what is that gonna look like? I'm gonna be putting veggie photos of veggies and sandwiches, okay? Because this is kind of, anyway, this is what you'll see, my great photos that I just, okay. Don't worry about this. Identity, make sure this is the great Facebook, Instagram account. If you have your Facebook business page and Facebook business page and Instagram business profile, you can link them together. Clearly, I'm not going to be selling sandwiches on my social media page, but this is just an example, so I'll use my agency page, okay? Ad setup. So this is the super fun part. You can decide to create an ad within Ads Manager. What does that mean? It means that that ad is only gonna be seen in people's newsfeed, but it's not gonna show on your page. So it's not gonna be like an ad that comes when people go to your page or Instagram account, but people that you target will see it. Okay, it's called a dark ad, and you have tons of cool creatives. So you can either create an ad, or you can go here and you can say, you know what, I'm just gonna use an existing post. So remember when we do boost a post, you just select the post that's there. If you go through Ads Manager, you can also use select a post here, and then you're gonna see all your posts, your Instagram posts, and you could go like that. And it would be essentially the same as using an existing post, but the superpowers of Facebook Ads Manager. There is also this new thing where in April 2024, where apparently when you use the app, when you hit boost post, you get charged a 30% service charge by Apple. Like, I keep doing research on this, and I don't think it's maybe in Canada yet, but it's definitely there. There's news all over the place from February 2024. But if you use Facebook Ads Manager to promote a post, say boost a post through Facebook Ads Manager, you won't get that charge. Okay, I'm really big here, sorry about that. Okay, so in this case, we're just gonna create an ad, okay? So I'm gonna show you, you have different options. You're probably gonna be playing with those two, okay? This one is like over the top. So let's just focus on those two. You can upload a single image, a video, or a carousel. What's a carousel? A carousel is when you load several photos and people are able to scroll through them. We see them often on Instagram, on Facebook, not as often, but it creates an interesting experience. So just for a quick show of what that is, I'm gonna say add image cards, and I could say, for example, I'm not gonna do this because it's really time consuming. It's really cool, but it's really time consuming. So here I could say, oh, I'm gonna have all these images, and it won't go on Reels, that's okay. But you can go here and I can see each little image. Here we do the little carousel like on Instagram, and on Facebook it would go like this. What's really interesting with Facebook is, see how it says learn more and some space? You can have a specific little text and a specific link for each image. So for example, I could have a little text that says delicious sandwich, order now, and link it directly to the sandwich page or the sandwich order button kind of thing. And then I can go directly to the cheese board order button kind of thing. Here you would write your little headline, and then see, you can edit the URL at each little card. This is a great thing, but trust me, it takes a lot of time. You need to have some patience, and so let's not get into this right now. But what we're gonna do, so that was carousel as your creative source. So let's go single image and video, okay? So by default, it pulls on from my website because it knows like the website and my page. But what I'm gonna do is add media. So I'm gonna add an image, and I'm gonna put this image of my sandwich. Okay, now it's gonna say, okay, remember your image is gonna go in all these placements. Are you sure this is what your image to look like? See, my original would be there, and then they're like, this is not really nice. Let's have it look that way. Is it okay? Do you want to crop it? Do you want to replace it? So I can say, you know what, I kind of want to crop this one. Put apply, etc. Okay, so this is this. However, now I'm like, you know what, this looks weird for a story and a reel and everything, because a story, it's like, it's a video, and a story is an image and a reel, but there be no text or whatever. That doesn't really make sense, right? So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna replace this one by this format, which is a vertical format with some text. I've already done all these images in advance. Now I'm like, okay, well, that would make more sense. See how I put the text in the middle? I'm being really strategic with this, because if I was to crop this image, or if it shows at different places, the text would always be there. For example, if I decided, I should probably have used this image as an example. If that was my one image, I could say, let's crop it, and see how it would show perfectly. And I can adjust it because my text is in the middle, okay? So you can go like this here. Actually, I'm gonna replace them all. You don't have to, just so that you can see the example with the cropping. Okay, let's pretend this is my one image. So then I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm liking this. How is this gonna look like? Ooh, this is really neat. This is really nice. You have your music. You can change the music. You can see how everything looks like. And then you can say all the different placements, all optimization. Let's do done. Okay, enough of that. Okay, I'm like, okay, I've put one image, and then I've changed it a bit because I wanted to use this image, but basically you can see, cool, I have one image, it goes into all the different placements, and it shows good into, see how the story would show? It shows a full image with the learn more here, or my action button, but there's a little text here, right? Otherwise it would just have been cheese with no information. Okay, so now this is funny. Your headline is underneath and your primary text is up here, okay? And then your description. So let's go back into here. So now I'm gonna say, okay, well, let's go into our primary text. So I have my little text saved here, and just to make it easy, I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna put my primary text here. Okay, what is it gonna look like? Does it looks okay? Then I'm like, well, I'm gonna put here little space. Okay, now I'm like, okay, I like this. Now, Meta goes crazy with AI recommendations. It's like, add different text variation, add different headline variation. So you can look, these are different texts, and what they're saying is try different texts to see what works. So here are some texts, you can have your own. So they give you tons of ideas. It's great, except you really have to review each text, and often it's not quite what you want. It's like a weird kind of ChatGPT. So I'm not going to get into this right now, but if I decided that, say, this is the good one, I just want to do like that, see if I was happy with this, I've edited it, you can do plus, and then it's going to test some different text for you, okay? But I'm just going to opt out of this AI suggestion. Same happens with your headline. So they're giving me headlines. I'm like, you know what, Facebook, I have my little headlines. I'm just gonna put refresh variation. Actually, let's just see. Let's put Savor More Good Class. Okay, I'm gonna put my headline here because this is what I had. So I had more time for fun, more fun, less kitchen, I think. I'm putting this, so see? More fun, less time in the kitchen. My header goes there. Then if I want to have another one, I could. It's gonna change it to optimize it. All right. So you can play with AI, whatever. Don't waste too much time with that. To be honest, it just sometimes they like really want you to do this, and they'll actually won't let you go further. Description is if you want to add something else. It comes at the bottom here. Call to action. I'm gonna in this case, I'm just gonna put order now because I want people to order some little cheese platters. All right, so let's do a quick recap. We put our ad name, we're at the ad, so the creative, we put what it is so we remember. We made sure we're on the proper page. We decided we're gonna create an ad. We decided to manually upload, which I've already done, that's why you see them, or you can use photos you have on your you'll have the option to choose photos from your account, or there's even stock photos they give you. Choose format, we put a single image, but we decide to use a vertical image with text in the middle, so that way it goes nicely on all sorts of platforms. It would be the exact same if you wanted to put a video. I recommend put it a vertical video, and if you had any text on it, put it in the middle. That way it's gonna go everywhere. And we have our little text, primary text, 1 out of 5. 5 is the different options of text that you can go if you want AI to play with what people see, and then they'll see which text performs the best and show that one. But we're keeping it simple. We have our one text. We're testing 2 different headlines. The headline shows here. I have my little call to action button that is here. And then we make sure that we are at the proper URL. You can preview the URL. In this case, I'm using my website, but it would be like the Charcuterie Deli store, or it could be like this page where people can see those specific products if I wanted to. I'm not gonna bother with any of this. Enter the link you want to show on your ad. I'm just gonna leave it as that. You can play with it, these things, and see how it shows over here. Languages, etc. Tracking is the last thing we're gonna look at, okay? So tracking, This is advanced, but for those of you who have Google Analytics, if you have shopping site or anything where there's e-commerce transactions and you have Google Analytics, chances are you're tracking the conversion. So you're tracking when people go to your website and buy something. So this is where you would enter the URL parameters so you can see campaign source, medium, and name, etc. And then you'll be able to see in your analytics, oh, look, this is my ad campaign, Charcuterie Spring 2024, paid ad from Facebook, and then you'd be able to track the conversions. So just so you know, this is what it is. If you don't have any of that, don't worry about that, or quick call a programmer and say, hey, how do I get them to that bandwagon, kind of. Okay, here there's a little thing here that says Audience Network rewarded video. So they're like, something's not gonna be as good because you don't have a video, you just have a still image. But guess what? I have uploaded a video for that specific purpose. So here, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say change. And I'm gonna go into upload a video, videos. And here's my little video that I have uploaded before to spare you that. And here's my video and I'm saying, okay, save. And now it says perfect. Now we're all optimized. So do you have to have all this ready? I knew this was coming, so I have done it. But you'd be fine. I mean, you can still run your ad. Okay, so we're at this and then we click publish. And I'm not gonna publish it at the moment. I'm gonna close it. And what happens when you close it is that it's gonna be saved in my draft items. So when I go back here, and it's actually not a bad thing to start creating your ad, take a step back and go back into it to make sure everything, but then I can go back here, edit and publish. This is Ads Manager. If you're like, oh my God, I need to stop this ad, I need to adjust the budget, I need to edit something, you can always click edit here, or you can check mark, you can choose this ad and click edit. You can go at the different levels and edit as you go. You can say, I just want to edit this, or I just want to edit the audience or something. If you want to see what your ad looks like, you can select it. If it's selected, you'll see preview and you can see what it's going to look like. It has to load kind of, so it might take a little bit. So you can see, oh yeah, that's this ad. And if you want to run a report, if you want to see the different columns, what is this, what are you seeing here? If I go into, if I put like maximum, then I could see all the data: link clicks, cost per clicks, cost per engagement, true plays, video plays, amount spent, etc. So this is where you can go and then you can edit all the different budget. If you hover over, see there's a little edit pen, you can edit everything and you can customize what you see. If you want to see different types of columns, if you see, oh, I want to see the reach or the frequency, you can check mark, say reach here, and then you can put it wherever you want. Sorry, it doesn't move it, but because I have the you can move things around and you can save your report. You can do all this super great organization of your column. You can move them around. And you'd think you could export this and it would be a beautiful PDF. At this time, it is not. And that's the biggest caveat with using Ads Manager compared to a fancy, pricey software that would do amazing reporting on its own. You kind of have to tweak a little bit the data you're looking for. Oh, this is one I use a lot. You can sort like newest by oldest and stuff. You can tweak the data and take a screenshot so you kind of keep it. Or you can play with export and see what that gives you and reports. It is getting better by the day, but it's not excellent. But try it out and see how it goes. This is a really long video tutorial. I teach a class on this and we go over the basics and the whole 6 steps in the 6 steps for social media success. Advertising is only one of the 6 steps, and it's part of a process that without the 5 other steps, you're not gonna really get as far as you could, especially organically. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you need a more advanced video, or if you need me to review some topics, let me know. I'd be happy to create a video just for you. Thank you for subscribing.